Oh, say, can you see the light? What's a shouldn't have turned down those cue cards. Oh.
Welcome back to United States of Australia. I am the Aussie guy, and we've got a very special episode this week. Robbie, the Mariner fan, is not here as much as he's pretending to be under the guise of Eckle Pineapple. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, not too bad. Got a bit of a cold, so I'm just might sound a bit English, and I put a filter on because we all know why.
Robbie not being here is kind of important to my joke to introduce the other two, because I always have to bury Robbie when I introduce him. I don't get to introduce him today, so I've got a joke for the introduction of our lovely guests today. So yeah, Scooper and Josh are not here either. We're doing a special Steel Toe Bash session, and because Robbie's isn't here, I had to invite two people on to cover the level of estrogen that we're losing through Robbie. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the two lovely ladies from the Pretty Antisocial podcast. We have Haley and Jackie. How are we doing?
Hi.
Hello. Doing well. How are you?
Thank you for the invite. We're excited.
I'm excited. I've been checking you guys out over the last week or so. Patrick's been talking you up for a little while now. So I dove in the pool and I was impressed. I've enjoyed your takes on Steel Toe, and I wanted to do another Steel Toe episode because it's just this guy's so frustrating, and you want to get shit off your chest sometimes. So first of all, Haley, let's give us a quick introduction to yourself and how you got into Steel Toe and Melton and all that.
Did you say me? Because my connection dropped and I just had to switch networks. Okay,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear anything for a second. Okay, so let me think real quick. I had originally been buddies with Royce because I had ended up modding for ROTC and for Daywave. Not so much with Mersh. And Mersh started to get a little weird. I started going down a rabbit hole of the people that bash Mersh and don't like him. I'd known about Pod Awful sort of from their show and them talking about him, but Pod Awful was who said Patrick Melton's name. Went and checked out Patrick Melton, loved him, been addicted ever since. I've been watching for a little over a year, maybe 18 months or so. And now we're here. So yeah, I watched the Steel Toe, lead up to the divorce, the countdown, all that fun stuff. And then I was watching Patrick Snipe MLC whenever Aaron found out the news that they had been arrested. I'd also watched Ricada back during LawTube, so I knew all the players. And honestly, the reason we started streaming about it and talking about it is because we were not hearing anybody else sort of saying what we thought other than Patrick, maybe a couple of other people, but definitely no females. So I was like, let's go on here and just gab and talk about it. So here we are.
Yeah, no, and it's it's nice to have the ladies' perspective and a couple of legendary ladies in the. I guess this is the Dabbleverse. I heard you guys talking about how you're not really Dabbleverse, and I tend to agree. Like Steel Toe's a little bit off of the Dabbleverse, but yeah, it's a little bit Dabbleverse. But we've got two lovely ladies here, legends. Sketty Tooth John is here. Good morning. So awesome to see these ladies this morning. It is, and little Emmy's here as well.
Good morning, Lindy.
Couple of legendary ladies in the Dabbleverse, and yeah, you guys have added a female perspective to the Steel Toe talk. I'll go over to you now, Jackie. Just in terms of linking up with Haley and covering this Steel Toe thing, what was it for you that got you involved?
Well, Haley and I actually met on a mutual friend of ours on their podcast, Off Label. They had double booked their guests and they're like, oh, is it okay? And I was like, yeah, sure. And Haley and I met there. We hit it off. We met and then we decided to start doing a podcast. And in the middle of trying to figure things out on our podcast itself, we were just talking back and forth and we're talking about the Ricada stuff. And she's like, oh my God, you have to watch this. And she sent me the link of Patrick Melton sniping the stream of, what was it, MLs? I don't know anything about like this universe. I know a little bit here and there, but I guess she sent me the link to Patrick sniping the MLC podcast, and I was confused, and I was like, what's going on? Who are all these people? And so, but I just watched it because I was just like listening to the story and what this guy was saying. And then as time went on, I give all credit to Haley to getting me into all of this, because she's just like sending me links, watch this, watch that. And I'm like, okay. So I just kept watching everything. And I was like, who the hell are these people? What is going on? And I know, like Haley, I knew a little bit about Nick Ricada because of like I watched Law Tubers and such, and I kind of stayed more on like the political side of things because I do 2 other podcasts that are more political or
you would love
like
Stuttering John
stuff, huh?
You would love Stuttering John. He's got a really good politics show. Should give it.
Oh yeah.
Give it a look. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you're
I'll
hooked,
have to
right,
check it
Jackie?
out.
Yeah,
But now I'm hooked.
Give him a
yeah.
sec.
So now I'm sending Haley links, being like, "Oh shit, did you see what he just said on here?" So,
and it's great you mentioned that. It's a great segue into the first topic that I want to discuss with you guys. And Eccles, yeah, you just butted in. I'll give you a chance to talk. No, I'll give you a chance to talk now. You know, you had to sit there for a minute. But no, Clippergate, I'm dubbing it. Keanu being talked into shaken down Will Heron. I don't know how to describe it. But no, it's created a funny discussion. And Eccles, like, I think the Clippers are cool, and it does help you digest all this stuff without being able to spend fucking hours and hours catching up with all of these shows. I love the Clippers. I think they're a benefit. Eccles, let's go to you. What do you take? What's your take on Clippergate?
No, I'm with her. I hate you, Clippers. You're pieces of shit. You are stealing money out of their pocket. No, obviously, clip it. Obviously, with that, it's ridiculous. But I think the problem is with Will. He's one of those guys who's like probably super nice and overly kind of overthinks things. So he's like, "Would you mind? Is it okay if I do it?" And in reality, he's like, "I'm gonna do it. I'm just kind of being polite." And that's why she said yes. And then afterwards, she's like, "Well, no." And he's realized, well, I don't care if you say no. I was just being nice. So, yeah.
I've honestly been a little astonished at how little YouTubers in general, but especially in this instance, know about copyright or fair use. It's really not hard. It's not really a cloudy area. So I've been it's just been weird to see. I'm like, figure it out. If this is going to be something you consider your job, or at least a way to make some income, that's important. You can't just go calling people out because you think your feelings are hurt. I mean, it doesn't work that way.
I've heard quite a few people kind of discussing it, and essentially they're saying, like, shows that are a lot bigger, who get a lot more views than her piece of shit show, saying it's only a good thing, more eyes on it. I get like sometimes they go, well, it's not transformative or whatever the fucking word is, but it's showing you the 5 minutes of the show that might actually be worth seeing. Like,
do you know how pumped up I was a few weeks ago when I had Lemmy on, and she gave me a couple of scoops on this show, and then my lost interest clipped my show, and a couple other people clipped and things on Twitter. I was like, holy shit, my show got clipped. This is so fucking exciting. Like, for me, obviously sitting in front of 11 live people, that's a big deal for someone like me.
Yeah, for sure.
But Keanu is, like, at the end of the day, not that far above me in terms of views and that, and any exposure you can get to get people over to you. Jackie, what are your thoughts on Clippergate?
I think it's stupid, honestly. Here's my thing. I listened to, I think it was Keanu talking with Will Heron, and I think Lemmy and some like 2 other people
on BYB.
Yeah. I saw that clip, right? And I was just like, what the hell? She like keeps repeating herself over and over, and like they're saying, like, it's fair use. People can clip your stuff all the time. Like, I can understand being upset if they're like your whole show and not giving you any credit for it. But it's just a clip, and like you were saying, it could bring more eyes to your whole show, and like actually make people more aware of you and your personality too. So I think that, it's just like people's butts are hurt. That's all.
No, exactly. And again, a week after my my show getting clipped was then my highest non-Tukey viewed episode. Tukey's still the champion on this channel. And help me get to 1K on that one, please. That one's at $8.99 at the moment, I think. But so immediately the next episode just got a bump. And of course, Echo was on that episode too. But yeah, it makes a difference. So overall, though, what stands out to me, and this is going to segue into our main topic of the show, but KiKi's just dumb, and she's easily led around by people. Like my tweet the other day was, after being the last person to figure out Aaron was manipulating her, she dusted herself off and immediately got manipulated by Chrissy and Frank. Like, she's just a dummy. And Haley, I know you got some thoughts on KiKi, so why don't you give her both barrels?
Oh gosh, okay, no pressure. No, look, I agree with people who say, she's a sweet girl, she's, tries to be kind and all that, but I think in the last few weeks, especially since she just, all of a sudden was the last person to realize what she was dealing with Steel Toe, or with Aaron specifically, she flipped really quickly. And I think that, right, I called that out before on one of our shows, because it's like, you can't be both. You can't be easily manipulated and also like vicious. You can't, I guess you can to a degree, but it's more like, you can't say that this whole time you just felt pity for him, you felt sorry, and you didn't know what to do, and you were friends with both, him and April, and then also later on say, we knew all along. We knew, he was having too good of a time with this. Well, which one is it? So after seeing like her reaction to Will, it's like, no, you're in the same sentence, you're saying, I'm the sweetest person alive, and then calling him a bottom feeder and calling him, I don't know, she called him all kinds of names. And I'm like, look, just saying it doesn't make it true. If you're a sweet, polite person, it comes off that way. You don't have to say it. But I'm watching this as everybody else is, and I'm seeing a lot of contradictory things. It's like almost opportunistic in the way that she decides when she wants to apply her kindness or when she wants to come off a certain way. And to me, that's just fake. And between that, the April stuff, the Aaron stuff, again, opportunistic. She flips on a dime depending on where, it benefits her the most. So I'm not impressed.
Yeah. And she keeps saying I'm too nice. Like whenever she gets called on her bullshit, she's like, oh, I'm just too nice. And it's like, no, you're dumb. You're just dumb. And you overreact. Because at the end of the day, I think Melton summed it up. What she was upset about is that Will Heron said too late. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but to his credit, he's probably already worked 3 or 4 hours on clipping her show, or who knows? I don't know how long it takes him to do one, but no, he's put the work in. No, it's already done. So too bad. Too late.
Thank you for reminding me, actually. That's a great point, because Chrissy Mayer had a dig saying it's the laziest thing to just clip other people's content. I can guarantee you more work goes into clipping that shit than Chrissy Mayer or KiKi put into their show at any stage. I've done clipping for shows. I'm involved in another show, Get My Go, where I've spent dozens, if not hundreds of hours listening to shit and just finding 30 seconds of gold that we need for our show or whatever. Like, it takes a lot of work to do this shit. So yeah, to say it's lazy, like Will Heron is lazy because he just clips it and puts it up. Like I do like the guys that do actually transform it a little bit, add a little bit of a touch to it. But yeah, KiKi being a dummy is kind of frustrating, just in the fact that I knew immediately that one Aaron Imholtte was going to turn that into a win for the toe. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into
Aaron's
it.
boring, and April adds nothing. It's gonna be great. We're scripting this morning. Come on. It's time for Movie and the Script. It's time for Movie and the Script. It's gonna be mediocre as fuck. It's time for Movie and the Script.
Yes, I'm keeping it alive. I refuse to let Movie and the Script die. I'm keeping it alive every time we do a Steel Toe segment on United States of Australia. That is the intro to the segment. And yes, this is the reason you're here, ladies. We're all here to gossip about Steel Toe.
Ladies.
And talk about yes, You're British. You're all women to me.
Okay.
Yes. But no, we all want to analyze this fucking moron. We've all been doing it. First of all, let's go across the week. Let everyone have a quick think. I'm going to you, Eckel, first. I want you to think of a standout moment from the week from Aaron Imholtte. Which
go on, finish this sentence.
No, I was just going to say, with the many different things that have been clipped from his show this week and all the talking points.
Yeah, so everyone clips all of the major things. I pay attention to the little bits that I enjoyed, and that's what you'll see later with that clip, because it was just a little chat with Granny, who is out of rehab. Go Granny, good work. And he was just obviously getting set up to be trolled, and it just kind of shows he thinks he's the big boy, and Granny put him in his place, really, you know.
Why don't we do that, ladies?
Let's just do it.
You can have a think for a minute. We'll let Eckel take over the show. I'll do the playing and pausing.
Oh shit!
But this is your clip. You brought it to the show. I've not seen this. I've only seen the first few seconds to make sure it downloaded and everything.
There's a porn bomb at 30 seconds, so you might want to skip that.
All right, excellent. I look forward to that. I have no problem with leaving it in. It'll take YouTube a while to figure it out. My channel's pretty low in the algorithm. All right, here we go. Is this at the beginning? I think it is.
Nearly.
All right, do you want to set it up in any way before I hit play?
Yeah, so I'm watching BYB. They're kicking ass as always, and Granny has the idea to call in, see if he can get through, and he does, because Stildo has no content. So this is where we get to.
All right, will you just let me know when to pause it, Eckel? All right.
I will. Don't you worry, sunshine.
All right, thank you.
You need volume on it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. My bad. Is that better?
We don't hear anything.
So what he's saying here is, I'm so amazing. Please hit the goal.
Whoa,
Donate.
whoa.
Oh, okay, spoilers. Sorry.
Sorry, was that not giving you audio?
No.
None at all?
This is like a bit that we're doing. Me and the Aussie guy, we're pretending like we can't put like a clip on. We're talking about clippers and how like they're really good, and we can't even play a clip. So that's the shtick. I think they're falling for it.
Oh, I see what I've done here.
Oh man.
Did
you do the thing? Did you do the thing and the thing? Where you did the thing wrong and the thing?
I needed to do something else with
it.
Yeah.
Play another clip. That's like 7 minutes long anyway.
Hey?
Do it, Aussie guy.
Well, this worked last time. I played it.
Let's ask the chat. Did it work last time? Or is he just chatting shit?
No, we didn't need audio last time. It probably actually didn't matter. Well, that sucks.
We should just all reenact it.
Well, can you?
I'll be Granny.
You should have the option. You should have the option to present, shouldn't you? You should be able to put it up there for me.
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
This is why I love doing clips, because I'm terrible at it. I did a little practice beforehand, but of course I can hear the audio.
I might cut you off. I don't know. 1 sec.
Yeah.
Here we go. And then do you have to bring it to the stage?
Perfect.
Oh, here it is.
All right.
It's Granny.
Oh my God. Get the fuck out. Hello. What a pleasant surprise. Granny. Hello, sir.
Hey, Aaron, another guy. How are you guys tonight?
Hey, guy. I'll take that. Matt's here. For people who don't know, Granny checked himself into rehab not long ago. He called into the show the day he left. We were very proud that he was taking such a bold step to get himself healthier. I want to say before you.
Yeah, so he just chats a load of shit at this point, kind of, back and forth, as you'd expect. It does go into a bit of chat off rehab chat from 50 to 230, so it's more about Granny, but it's up to you if you're remotely interested.
Let's just see how it starts. I'm always interested what angle he plays and what he tries to do with these things, so I'm interested in the rehab bit.
No worries.
You even answer any of our questions. You sound very, very good.
Oh, thank you, man. I've heard that my voice got a little better. I'm cut out for the radio and shit now.
Well, I mean, look, you can fill in for me for a while. I want to go on vacation.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm fucking finished.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I
over
could
for
tell
me.
women are fat a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing great. How's sober living? Are you in the facility yet, or are you home?
Oh man, no, I was gone for a month, bro. I'm out, dude.
Yeah, I can't. I lost track of time.
Yeah, I've been there for a month, so yeah, no, I'm out. You know, I was in there with a bunch of convicts and stuff, and it was like a rehab / you go back to prison if you fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So he just
Sorry, I didn't realize how much granny it was.
Unfortunately, you know, when he calls in, he's not really got anything to say to the guests, so he's just kind of listening to a lot of it. There's rehab chat, which is on till 2 minutes 30, 2:30 to 3:10. There's a discussion about booty juice, which is always good. Then 3:10 to 3:40 is still doing a load of bad movie references, which is probably worth having a little look at, I guess. I cannot look at the time on this though. I can just.
What do you ladies think of those ones? Do you want to hear any rehab chat?
You want to hear about rehab?
I mean, I'm proud of him. Like, that's amazing. But I was just reading in the chat, Lemmy saying, you know, they try to grift off Granny's rehab thing, fucking weird and sad. And it is. Yeah. But he will do that off anything and anybody. And it's just gross. It's really gross. I mean, we've come to expect that from him, but yeah, it's pretty gross.
Well,
you go with what you think is a highlight.
All right, so it's still toe.
You want to set it. You want to set it up as well. So
yeah, okay. So essentially, any conversation he has, he hears one word that's from a movie 30 years ago, and he wants to turn it into a brilliant bit. I'm gonna try to find it. I can't see the time on this, so apologies. You know, if it's not exact. So it's supposed to be 3 minutes 10. Oh, I can see the time. Never mind. Ignore me. Okay, so this is for about 30 seconds. Yeah, so. Everyone be quiet in our
Jesus Christ. So they're all like Wild Bill from the Green Mile.
Wrong.
Essentially. Jesus. Or Billy the Kid from the Green Mile. Yeah.
TV or movie reference.
Kid from the Green Mile, but they all look like Michael Clark Duncan.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right.
That's a bad combo.
Funny. So it's John Coffey, but with Sam Rockwell's fucking attitude. I see. I see. Mm-hmm. You see, it's spelled. It's like the drink, only not spelled the same.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, so it's not gold, but I enjoyed it because I like BYB, and I thought it was a good little, a few good moments. I enjoyed the rehab talk. God damn you! But
go back to the rehab talk. I imagine Aaron's trying to crack jokes. No, I imagine he's trying to crack jokes about rehab, and I want to see him crack jokes about.
Yeah,
rehab.
It's mainly obviously Granny cracking jokes as well, kind of being like he's with a load of criminals, and they're all. You know, the blacks. But there is a bit onwards where he tries to get one of the bingo things specifically mentioned. And for some reason, Steel Toe thinks it's a different bit and he gets quite carried away with it. So it is long. So maybe we'll just skip forward at bits because I can't specifically remember when. Go.
Yeah, I found Jesus in there.
Did you?
And I would like to share, you know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's your favorite scripture?
My favorite what?
Scripture.
Like what's your favorite?
I like that Galatians one that the pastor read at the Recatus church we went to. That was basically calling us out for being degenerate pieces of shit, and I totally called it.
See, that was a good little bit, right? That's about Recator, isn't it?
Galatians.
It's the only scripture he knows.
5:26.
The only one.
I think.
Okay. My favorite was Exodus 33. That's when God came to tell Moses to lead the Jews out of Egypt. And he said to Moses, he said, jumpeth up, find me a mountain. Shake off the sheep. They have been counting.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't even get this reference. Is this an American like pop song or something? Or
I have no idea what's wrong with him.
Because he's cracking up, and I'm like, obviously it's a joke. But then he spends, I swear, probably the next 2 minutes doing his own one, going, "Yeah, good idea, Granny," and then just completely ripping it. But yeah, I did my best, guys. Come on, that's hard to watch.
I honestly want to know what he is laughing so hard at. That's bonkers.
No, not a clue.
One of the things that offends me most about Aaron is his theory. Like, he thinks he's very funny. He thinks he's doing the best comedy show that you can do. And I was, oh God, I think I was listening to, I never listened to Aaron, his actual show. It's either through Tukey or Patrick Melton or who are these podcasts? But now I got to remember which clip this was. I think it was this one. Johnny was talking about the breakup with his girl, and they were making it. I think this is the one. Actually, no, this isn't the one. Hang on a second. I'm doing well tonight, aren't I?
You're cracking. Almost as good as my clip.
I know.
So Lemmy said it's Eric Church lyrics, and that makes sense.
Right.
I don't listen to that kind of music, so I wouldn't have caught that. But that makes sense as to why he was like bent. You know? Yeah.
Pretty sure this is the one. So anyway, he thinks he's a comedic genius. Let me just play it.
Like, yeah, I don't know if it's daddy issues or what, but I have a thing for older guys. I'm like, and we're avoiding this one because that's too many red flags. And now I know.
Wait a minute.
Like,
wait a minute. She's a stripper, and she told you she might have daddy issues.
All right, so that's the joke, right?
Holding my spice.
That's it. That's
Johnny's not amused.
Hilarious.
He's paid to be amused, so you better be.
All right.
Well, and here he is again. That's taken his friend's like downfall and running with it and just exploiting him. Like, Johnny's upset. He was trying to, get this girl out and stuff. I watched this the other morning live, and I was like, God, dude, like, have some. Anyway, we all know who Aaron is now.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It was the longest I ever actually heard Johnny talk too.
Right?
I felt really bad. I was like, oh, he got scammed. Poor thing.
Anyway, the point of this clip is that that's the joke, right? Daddy issues from a stripper. Haha, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how long this goes and what he has the balls to say at the end.
4 hours.
But the important part was she's into older dudes.
If a stripper came up to me and said, I have to confess something to you, this might fucking...
Well, it wasn't I have to confess. We were talking about my age.
But if a stripper came up to me and was like, look, I might have daddy issues, I would go, let me stop you right there. We can remove the word might. Just forget might. Let's practice using word economy. Only use the words that are necessary to convey the point we're making. Might is not necessary here.
The balls.
Flog that horse to death with that fucking thing.
Jesus. He beat the shit out of that joke.
Come on, be funny.
Well, the joke it's funny when it's unspoken. You know what I mean? Like you hear Johnny say it, that's the joke. Like, you leave it alone, you don't have to touch it, and that's what makes it funny. He just doesn't. Yeah, okay. He doesn't get it.
It's like, am I right? Am I right? Let's explain it.
you probably didn't hear me. Let me say it in a different way.
Right.
Do you want to get paid? Laugh.
Right.
Now, I wanted to discuss with you guys because I believe that, well, Jackie, I know you've talked about feeding a child and putting it to bed. Can't remember, Haley, if you've mentioned having kids, but I'm a parent, and there's a couple of things that have bothered me about this fucking asshole. One being, like, I think Aaron's youngest is the same age as my oldest. And the stuff that he's just figuring out as a parent is astonishing. Sometimes you've just got to stand over the sink and eat your child's leftovers for dinner. Yeah, I've been doing that a while. Like, he's always relied on the other person. And it made me realize how much April was taking on in the house, looking after those kids. But the other one is his mentioning, and he's mentioned many times now, that the daughter said, you're the only one who comes out to see us when they were over at the Ricators, comes out to check on us. So they're having their fucking sex parties, their drug sex parties with his kids there. And everyone's supposed to forget about that, or because he's acknowledged it, that's okay. Yeah, Jackie, you start on this one. I don't think enough people zone in on how bad a parent he's been.
Yeah. Another one that people don't talk about either is that him talking about how his kids had said to him, "Dad, I'm bored. All we do is just be on our iPads the whole time we're here." And I was just like, and same as you, I was like, so, you know, as time has gone on and he's been called out on not talking about the children, he's gone on to this thing like, but you got to think of the children that rant. And it's just like, and then anytime that he would talk about, oh, and then I left and then I left. But it wasn't the time that you found Coke next to your 4-year-old, as you said, or whatever. Like he continually, I don't know. Give me a second. Sorry. But he is just so arrogant to the fact of thinking about himself during the whole thing that once the the search warrant application came out and he read it out loud online and had mentioned things about the Ricada children, and I guess I at first thought that he was like, oh crap, like really the kids. And then he went on to this whole rant with Keanu on his show, like a few days later, making fun of the kids the whole time. So as a parent watching that, it's disturbing. And 2, now he's trying to become like number 1 dad. And you were just talking about how you had this whole 6-month span where you're pretty much ignoring your kids and putting them in a dangerous situation, and putting them in the dangerous situation wasn't what woke you up to leave. It had something to do with you not being able to sleep with Nick anymore or something.
So I've got
allegedly, maybe.
Allegedly.
I've got to highlight Dang Lizard because he's always here to let me know how things are going. So Aussie Guy has a pineapple and women on, and you can see the impact. Almost 20 viewers. Congrats, you found the winning formula. Appreciate it, Dang. Thanks for stopping by and letting me know. But look, that's almost little Emmy numbers, not quite Tukey numbers, but yes,
you're getting there.
That's it. We're building, and no, you guys have given us a nice bump today, and it's nice to see Scaredy Tooth here. Aaron slept in a bed with 3 other people while his children were in a different room by themselves, and you can see those emojis. It's horrendous. And I got to say, if Ashley LaRue, perhaps she's just stringing Aaron along to be like, no, you're fine, everything's fine, just look after the kids. But he keeps flapping his gums. She's got to be documenting this stuff, doesn't she, Haley? Like, she's not an idiot, right?
No, I have said that from the beginning. Out of the entire crew, she's obviously the most intelligent, which, I mean, isn't saying a lot considering who we're talking about. But the smart thing to do in all of this, knowing that these things are occurring, is to document everything, to download all the videos, whatever it is, and then take it to your lawyer and say, look, he's putting our children at risk. I don't feel safe sending them over there. And then it's a done deal. And who could blame her at this point? He's even said that he can't wait until he can talk about his cousin and bury them, trying to talk around it and stuff. But that's just it with this entire story. This is the only information that we've gotten out of any of the 4 that were involved in the polycule situation. So it's like, we know he's a liar, but there's probably some truth woven into some of this stuff. And I have to catch myself sometimes when I'm talking about some of it, because I'm like, God, who even knows if this even happened? If they just went over there and they were hanging out. Like, he seems so much like a scorned lover, the way that he's like attacking them. But when he went on Kino Casino directly after this happened, he spilled things that, I mean, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, are you serious? He exploited everybody. His wife, who he was still married to at the time, Kayla, I mean, he said terrible, disgusting things about her. And then like 2 days later comes on and saying they were soulmates and all this. Like, it's just all over the place. And that's why I can't take my eyes off of it, because I'm like, can you hear yourself? He has zero self-awareness. None.
It's so hard to know when he is telling the truth. And I think his angle sometimes is to like confess to something that's quite extreme and be like, well, if I'd confess to that, like, why would I lie about something else? And one of the things I keep going back to as well is the nose to nose with April in an argument. Like, that's not acceptable. I can't believe you would admit to that. So
it was 2.5 years ago, though.
But I didn't hit her.
2.5 years ago.
I didn't smack her in the face.
Yeah.
It's fine. Honest.
But you know what?
It was 2.5 years ago. Don't worry about it.
Jackie and I were talking about that when he first said it, though, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, though. He's 6'4" or whatever it is, 6'2". She's 5.5 or whatever. How did that happen? If they're like this, does that mean they were like this? Was he on top of her? Was he in a sitting position? Like, I'm
like
just
this,
going off
like
of what
this.
he's saying. Yeah, and he said several times, he's like, we were nose to nose. I was, maybe I was smashing her face. Blah, blah, blah. Well, then you tell me physically, how that happened. It just doesn't. None of it makes sense.
Yeah, and he was the victim of abuse, which is fucking.
Of course.
How many abuse victims jump on the internet and antagonize their abuser? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Does he think this stuff through?
It's crazy to see how in the past few weeks after the abuse allegations come out, how he has turned it around to say that he was psychologically manipulated and April's the one that did everything. And since Keanu and Gino, I always call them Gianu on accident. So if that happens, it's because I'm talking about both of them. But ever since that they stopped doing the show with him, he oh my God, I keep losing my thought. I'm sorry. It's like the morning.
You were talking about the psychological abuse and
he was saying how Keanu was manipulated by April, and he's like, I can't believe you're being manipulated by this woman like I was. And I was just like, are we on the same planet? And it feels like ever since this thing has happened, you've seen different personalities as time has gone on. Like first he's like, yeah, I'm like this big guy that like was in this cool polycule thing. And then as people are starting like, well, you sound like a piece of shit. He's like, oh, but it was horrible. And I'm so glad I got out of it. And like trying to act like the hero at sometimes. And now since the abuse allegations have come out, he's like, I'm a changed man. I go outside. I touch grass every day. Look, I have my kids. I'm the number one dad. And then now with
just
Keanu,
the number one dad.
Yeah, just the number one dad. And then now with Keanu and Gino gone, he's like, forget it. Scorched earth again. Like, F all these people.
He's always scorched earth. He's always. Oh, that's another topic I want to get onto in a second. But Eckel, I know you've been sitting there nodding along. I'm sure you've got some thoughts that you want to spit out of that pineapple head of yours.
I just want to clarify. So, you three are all parents. Is it a bad thing to take your kids to go do coke and sleep with swingers, or?
It's generally frowned upon.
Right.
And it never crossed their minds. Right, it never crossed their minds. And that's just what blows my mind. I'm like, you guys it was nothing. What did you do the whole time knowing they were right there other than, sleep and wait on them to wake up Aaron?
So I had two things that popped up in my mind whilst we were all talking about this. So the first thing is he's kind of like, by like the 5th or 6th time, I was like, that's well out of order. This is unsafe for my kids. Sure. 5 times, it's all right. It's an accident. But 6 times, I've got to be the better guy and, move them to safety. So, okay, cool. And the other thing, go on, Ossie.
Sorry. I thought you were done. No,
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Go. I had a good thought following on from that. But no.
I doubt it. So, is it true that they were kind of saying April was kind of like the maid, like when the 3 of them were there, she was kind of like looking after the kids? So no one's picked up that when there was 4 of them, those 3 were in the room and who wasn't in the room. So who was the nanny and maid originally until he's like, screw this, I'm going home. And they're like, all right, well, sorry, you're gonna have to do it.
The thought I had earlier actually is because we have movie night on a Saturday night, and then the kids go to sleep, and then I come up here and do a podcast. So we watch these kids' movies every Saturday night. Aaron Imholtte is like the antagonist in every kids' movie. Like, it's the most dweeby guy trying to do vile shit to people that always fails because he's an idiot and he can't figure out how to do it right. I think he is that. He's a stereotypical kids movie antagonist.
Well, what makes this whole situation worse, though, too, is that he continually says that he was the sober one in the situation. Oh, but I was the sober one. And you see what's going on with these kids, and you're like, okay, here's some SpaghettiOs every now and then. Like, it makes it 10 times worse.
And he talks about he talks about the fights that they'd have, and he's always got to point out, when you fight with drug addicts, sort of. He is such a arrogant, snarky prick that I can imagine when you're tweaking the way this prick talks to you. It's like, it would get out of hand pretty quickly. Like, I'd struggle to do it sober. Stone cold sober with a good night's sleep. I'd struggle to deal with this guy. So I could see how they would get frustrated with him, because it would be the way he goes about it, because he's so holier than thou. And it's fascinating the way he's putting himself above everything, because he said, yeah, I did these things. It's kind of like if Jeffrey Dahmer went, guys, I've admitted it. I admitted that I did it. I admitted I was a bad person. So can I just carry on with my life now?
We're okay. We're okay now.
Yeah, like you took your children to a drug-fueled sex party. That's what it comes down to. So it blows my mind. But another part of the title of this episode is that Aaron Imholtte is a shitty friend. And god damn it, now I got to remember which fucking video it was again. It's got to be this one.
I'd like to know who has built his head up like this over the years, because all of us can see it and all of us can call it for what it is. And I'm okay. So he's narcissistic, he's arrogant, all of that. But who has been in his corner being like, "You're right"? Other than Matt and Johnny,
must be a mum, right? Like, has he said anything about his parents ever that you've come?
Yeah, well, they disowned him when he married April.
Yep.
His dad sounds like just as big a prick as he does.
Okay,
but
so
that's Aaron explaining the story. So
yeah.
By the way, I think it was Stalin 19's clip I used earlier. Shout out Stalin 19, and this is Real Media Player. I'm pretty sure this is the clip. I hope this is the clip. This is Aaron just not listening and not giving a fuck about what his friend is talking about.
Body dysmorphia, where you have this obsession to believe a part of your body is wrong, misshapen, or whatever. There are people who think like they need to be blind or paraplegic or an amputee, and they will go to extreme lengths to the point of having people blind them, looking to have surgeries to have their spinal cord cut so they can't walk. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm boring you. Sick people are.
All right, shout out Johnny for fucking calling him out. What a prick. And this is your own show, you yawning.
Boring.
You know how fucking tired I am right now? Like, I am so tired. I'd love to go to... You're not catching me yawning. Like, I'm listening to my fucking guests here today. But to yawn through it, but then this after
fucked up, man.
Well, I will tell you guys this. We got a lot of stories still coming up today. You're not boring me. It's Wednesday. Wednesday is my holy shit, how am I going to make it through today day.
Johnny has MS. Johnny has MS, you motherfucker. You're going to talk about how am I going to make it through today. He's wondering how he's going to make it through every day, you asshole. And he was fucking opening up about it.
Well, the whole time that Johnny was talking, he was reading the chat. He was completely disconnected from anything that Johnny was saying. Yep. Johnny could have been, reading the Constitution, the alphabet, the encyclopedia. None of it mattered because he was focused, in on that chat. So then when Johnny was done for a minute, I'm not even sure. I mean, I guess he heard him say, "Oh, you're tired" or whatever. But then it's right to the goal. It's always right to the goal when he doesn't listen or he doesn't know where else to go. Oh God, he's insufferable.
Yesterday,
I got my goal. I got my goal
doing
right
2 shows
here.
a day. Thursday and Friday are nice and easy, almost kind of a weekend vibe. Thursday and Friday, but Wednesday is definitely the toughest one for me getting through because it's morning show, kids all day, evening show, and now I think you see why sometimes I try to sneak a Wednesday off here and there.
Imagine having a real job. Oh, it'd be so much harder, wouldn't it?
Holy shit. Yeah,
I have to work for 2 hours, then I have to give them some Cheerios, and then it's another 2 hours. 5 hours later, I go work.
He loves to tell people to get off the net, and it's like, dude, you're online 26 hours a week telling people to give you money. Like I do one stream a week for somewhere between an hour and 2 hours, and generally that's my opportunity. I do work a real job. Most of us work real jobs. Yeah. That's why we don't beg on the internet for money. Speaking of money,
What's your Venmo?
Yeah, supertip.gg slash, is it supertip.gg slash pretty? Is that
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Yep.
thanks.
You got super tips.
Thank you.
Yes.
And
yes,
look,
I
if
did.
anyone wants, if you guys are
Right.
logged in, if anyone wants to do it right now and give us some sort of AI voice, that'd be awesome. But
Will
and
you be
also
okay on
PayPal,
you?
PayPal, yeah, it'd come through your screen, wouldn't it? If someone sent a super tip and you played it.
Not right now, no, because I didn't connect through OBS. Like, there's a whole
Okay.
system on the backside where it's
Right,
like
yeah.
insanity. But
Keep
we'll have it
your money-
ready Tuesday.
Yeah,
Keep your
don't
money,
worry.
guys.
Go to paypal.me/sussy guy. Just imagine
There
sussy
you
guy.
go.
With an S
There
for
you
the
go.
H.
But thank you. That was cool.
No, but yeah,
Yeah.
when Pretty Antisocial is live, supertip.gg/pretty. Go support the guys financially.
Yeah.
Thank you. Super
Everybody deserves money. We all put in
Okay.
time.
Not Joey.
cool. Except Aaron. Except Aaron. He doesn't deserve anything.
Yeah, exactly. Sketty to John summing up. Me. That's Aaron. Absolutely. Hughesy's here on the Keepin at 100 account. United States of Australia has better audio than Keepin at 100. It absolutely does. Dang Lizard actually not being snarky, making a point for a change. Aaron has been unbearable to watch for me, but when this whole Nick April thing came out, it became comically bizarre. Don't get me wrong, still hate the guy, but it's more surreal now. That is the crazy thing about it, is like, I didn't like Aaron and I loved Melton's coverage of Aaron, but now it's like, I don't care who's covering it. Like, I need to hear more people's opinions on this, because this shit is fucking bonkers. I do have another clip here, but I'm not going to bother playing it because we've all heard these clips. We all know what we're talking about here. What I want to go to is the fact that Aaron keeps talking about how he's been lied about. These people have lied about him. Can anybody here tell me anything that Nick, Kayla, or April have said publicly about Aaron Imhollte since their arrest on the 23rd of May?
No.
Checks notes. No.
Literal answer.
I think he's relying on like what he thinks April may have told Keanu. That's the only thing that makes sense to me in this, is that he's got to be like trying to get in front of that and say, oh, they've been told lies, because that's the only person that we know that's actually possibly said something about the entire situation. Nick's come out and he's like, he's going to say whatever he's going to say, believe what you want, but the only other way that makes sense to me is if he's talking about April, what she may have confided in Keanu in.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That is the thing I think that he's clinging to, is that April contacted Keanu and said, yeah, he did headbutt me. He did squeeze me until I couldn't breathe. And Keanu went, okay, cool.
I know I always laugh at that stuff. Sorry.
Now, and the other thing is, Aaron keeps saying that Ashley made these allegations. Again, we've all, like, those text messages are there. Like, April said that in a text message, right? Jackie, I know you've covered these documents gone through them pretty thoroughly.
Oh yeah, no, the text message. So it's all stemming from a like a harassment order, or like almost like a restraining order. I don't know what it's formally called, that was given to April and to Aaron in January of 2024. And part of the documents for that, I think it's called an HRO. Part of those documents to get the HRO were text messages between Ashley and April. And through those text messages, you can see that they were friendly with each other. I think it was back in 2022 that they were friendly with each other. Like, April confided in Ashley about different things going on in her relationship with Aaron. And that was the basis for, some of the basis for, the HRO. And now Aaron is going and talking like it's all a lie. It's all a lie. And I kept saying, but the text messages though, if Ashley would have like made those text messages up and sent it to a court, then she could get prosecuted for it. So you think that she's going to do that and risk, getting her kids taken away from her too? No, absolutely not. So he's like just trying to play that it's all fake when it was 2.5 years ago. It was 2.5 years ago.
Is there any chance that Aaron didn't see April's texts and then April was
Yeah.
able to talk her way out of it to avoid getting the shit beat out of her again.
Okay,
She was
so
able to say,
two
"I never
things.
said that."
Well, two things. You know, the what was in the HRO, they talked about when he forced them into a group conversation, all four of them, to have the, you know, to keep all the parents in line with what was happening. The text messages between her and Ashley were prior to this, so they were private. So yeah, there's a good chance of that. And I also want to say that I think, you know, with this being filed in January, I could be wrong about this, but with this being filed in January, that Ashley sits here and watches this polycule happening and, you know, starts to see these people, you know, losing weight and acting crazy. And who knows how the children exchange went, which is at the police department, from my understanding, a neutral place. But she's watching this go down and she's like, wait a minute. I do have some texts that might, you know, at least break these people up, because she didn't want, April, there's so many A's in this story, April to be around the kids and drive the children. And who could blame her? So, you know, this was sort of a thing. I don't blame Ashley at all for not wanting her children around that. And if it's a domestic violence situation, maybe it took them that many months or something, you know, to actually present it to April and to Aaron. But either way, the timing of that is interesting to me. Did she file it, you know, in the middle of summer last year, you know, and it just sat until they finally, you know, did something about it? But yeah, I mean, Ashley's doing the right thing to try to protect her children, and she's watching like a hawk. I'm telling you, she's taking notes.
I disagree.
Well,
I disagree.
and the crazy,
Really?
Yeah.
Go then. Echo.
Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's give him a chance.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I just think the amount of stuff that she has on Steel Toe, without stepping on WATP's kind of feet with this, but their kids must be unbearable. The fact she hasn't got 100% custody over those kids, they must be like so annoying that they're just like these little shits. Go with your cokehead dad and his little skank. Fuck off.
Oh no.
That's my opinion. Not all kids are good.
I like that angle, actually. I mean, you know,
son.
there's theories about little Louis, what's going on there. We know apparently April calling him a retard is worse than headbutting April. But you know, like, I guess, you know, you weigh it up, 6 one way, half a dozen the other, as they say. I think, like, Aaron talks about pulling the nose up on the plane all the time. He loves how he pulled the nose up on the plane. I think it's pretty fucking obvious, right, that he did no pulling up of that nose. Ashley LaRue smashed the nose up and said, "Get the fuck out of there, or you're done.
Yeah.
It's over." Like,
Right.
she instigated this, right?
100%,
Like, am I misreading this, or is that pretty obvious? Haley, you go.
I think so. I think so, because right after this went down, it was only a couple of days, because he went on Kino Casino and was running his mouth. Then he went on Ethan Ralph. You know, he made his entire media tour, and then he came back, and all of a sudden it was like, me and Ashley are really getting along really well. You know, I'm jumping through all the hurdles. Everything's cool. She gets it. I've been completely honest with her. To me, that sounds like, you know, a man that's been put in his place, where he knows where he stands, and he knows that he's got to really, you know, tiptoe around her. And I think publicly he made it a point to be like, and that wasn't for us, that was for her, is what I'm trying to say. That was to like butter her up, because she's got him backed into the corner, you know.
Yeah.
Any thoughts,
I just
Jackie?
wanted to point something out real quick too, because we were talking about the HRO earlier, and that was given to Aaron in April and beginning of January, and the hot tub stream was after they were given the HRO.
That's
which
true.
is insane.
Yeah,
So
that is actually because that's where they start dropping. They're dropping the hints at that point. That's also, again, something that Aaron points out. I love how he just keeps running his mouth, and then he just tells you little things that like fill in slots there. He talks about in the warrant how like people at the church knew that like we were in this seedy relationship. But then he's also said that how Nick and April would say, you and Kayla are not subtle at all, and you're making this look obvious. So even little things like that are Aaron's fault, that people were taking notice, because he's not subtle. He is the least subtle person there is. But the vindictive nature of Aaron. Sorry, Echo, did you want to add something?
Sorry, I was just going to say, how much of the Kayla stuff do you think is genuine, and how much is him kind of like blowing it up? So it's like, well, yeah, obviously, like I was kind of like fucking her all the time, and you know, like she really loved me, and like, Or it's kind of like, no, she kind of gave you a handy so the husband could get some strange with that young girl. Like that's more what I think it is. But I'm just overly skeptical, I guess.
Well, he's been in love with 3 women in 6 months. You know, he was supposedly in love with April and then Kayla. And I think he pretty much seems like he's in love with Slam Piece now. As well.
All right.
I think he needs a woman in his life. Like, it's obvious by the way he's talked about fucking doing laundry and cooking for his children and all this. Like, he's never done any of that stuff. He relies on a woman. But then he talks down about women. That's the worst kind of chauvinist. Like, at least pull your weight and do the shit you're supposed to do. Like, April was mowing the lawns and all that. He didn't even know about picking shit up off the lawn before running over it with a lawnmower. You know, like, it's absolutely. Have you not seen that, Jackie?
No.
Yes. She was up there like fixing the roof, like re-roofing the roof with her dad, and he was inside playing video games. But the thing about it is, he's got to. You said that about the women. It's the same thing that we see, the same pattern with him and the co-hosts that he chooses. You know, no, I'm not slighting them, like they're fine or whatever. They're not,
dummies.
but you know,
they're all dummies.
Right. He needs that to stay up here. It's the only way he stays elevated. So same thing with the women, same thing with the co-hosts. That puts Aaron up there, which is, you know, again, doesn't say a lot, but I think that's a part of his strategy. Not only that, but like you said, he can't be responsible for all those things. Half of them he doesn't know how to do.
Yeah.
That's so ridiculous.
I had no idea. Like I like I said, I am new to all of this. Like, I only know the Aaron stuff from after the arrest. I don't know much about before. So I
this
had
is since the arrest, the lawn mowing stuff and all that. He's had to start mowing the lawn. He's like, oh, the kids have been leaving juice boxes around the yard, and you got to go around and pick those up, otherwise they get shredded into little bits. It's like, I mean, I learned that when my dad made me mow the lawn at 7 years old or whatever
Right?
the fuck, wherever it happened.
Well,
you know,
that's sort of the fun about our show, and sort of some of the things we've discussed going into is because Jackie's so new to this. Like I said, she's caught up really quick, and I'm impressed with how much she has stuck right in there with me and understands things. But there's a lot of things from the past leading up to this that she has no idea about. So I'm like, let's watch a couple things and let you, live react, because to me that's fresh. That's refreshing. Some of us, or most of us, have been in this for a while, so we've watched the progression of things, whereas she hasn't. So there's some things where I'm like, I want to show her and want to see how she reacts. So anyway, I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I can't keep my emotions straight on my face. Like, if you'll know how I feel the second that I see it, because I'm not good at hiding that on my face at all.
well, and that was the thing again with Aaron and April, that there was no subtlety in their behavior. But I think the worst part is that nobody would know like the real seedy stuff without Aaron. Again, the Ricaders and April have not said a word. He's been the one out running his mouth. And I don't know how much you guys know about the legal side of things, but this is a thought that I've been having lately, in the possibility of that search warrant getting thrown out. Because the number one key witness to all of this, like without Aaron's Steel Toe Morning Show, that's a very flimsy warrant, with just the information that they had. Like, they based a lot of that on what Aaron said on Steel Toe. And when you look at the credibility of the man, he is it's provable that he's a liar. Like, you can just go across his show. I think any judge that actually got presented with his credibility would be like, oh no, how could we give a warrant based on that? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Jackie? I know you like to look into the legal side of things. Do you have any thoughts on the theory that maybe the warrant could get thrown out based on Aaron?
I don't think that it would get thrown out based on Aaron. I think that he might be thrown out as like a credible he could be thrown out as a credible like witness or something like that. But I think with the rumblings that were going on from the pastor of the church and him saying, since he's a mandatory reporter, and people from it said that people from the congregation had talked to the pastor, and he's the one that went to the authorities because I think one of the teachers said that the kids were asking for food because they were hungry, and they had the same clothes on for a few days and stuff. So that was the big one. So I don't think it's going to get thrown out. And another thing was just because of Aaron's show is another reason why they decided to take more action, I guess you'd say. So I don't know. And it wasn't, he says he didn't go and tell anybody. I go back and forth on whether or not he actually went to the authorities himself. Because, go ahead. I know you got something to say on that.
Another theory I have is that Aaron's cut some sort of a deal. Because he goes to say that I'm fine, but then he goes, "Oh, I can't say that." Blah blah blah.
Right.
Haley, go.
Thank you. No, y'all both sort of had I had two different points going at the same time. Jackie, you made one and you've made the other. No, I think he has these little tells. Aaron talks too much. He's got diarrhea of the mouth, so to speak. He talks too much, and every now and again he'll trip himself up and he'll say things he doesn't mean. I've been listening really closely to some of the things he's been saying since April has gotten charged. And even in that, he says things like, like he slipped up one day and said that he didn't tell quick enough or something like that. He's also said on one of, I think it was the same stream, that he knew this was coming down the pike. He knew that these charges were going to be, put out against her. Then you look at the what, I don't know how they said it, like the application for the search warrant. And they're like you had mentioned, they've got like his shows made, whatever, look at this one made it. And if you go back and you watch those shows, like leaving that context out of it, not knowing what was coming as far as the arrest, if you throw that in the back of your head, he was dropping hints as if he knew who was listening. And to me, there's too much going on. There's the Al-Anon meetings to me where it's like, usually those are court, forced. And maybe not. Maybe he's doing it on his own just to save face and go, have everybody feel pity for him. Could be both. But to me, since the very first day, I'm like, like the way this is led up, and then you've got him like overselling his, I'm the bad guy too, and all that. But also, I got out, right at the nick of time. There's the fact that he called April's parents the day before she got arrested. There's the fact that he called Keanu the day before they got arrested to talk about Kayla. Like, I just, I don't know how he couldn't be. And I hope, honestly, like after this is all said and done, that, he has admitted to a lot of things, and there should be some accountability there, especially when it comes to the children. So best case scenario, in my opinion, is Ashley, having custody of the kids. And not that he would care. I don't think he would care too much, honestly. He wants to be dad of the year in front of all of us. Yeah. But I mean, I don't think he cares.
This is a good point brought up. Sorry. Joseph, is that Langs? Sorry. Struggling to read the
Yes.
screen. What he wasn't he in contact, and I think Dang Lizard backs that up. Yeah, before the raid, he talked about having a friend to say, I remember that too.
It's the same one in the paperwork. He has admitted to that he has talked to her. It's the same chick that showed up on the search warrant. So you tell me, like, how much involvement he really had or still has.
And if you wanted to look like the good guy, like he's been trying to portray himself, then why didn't you tell people? Why don't you just come out and say, yeah, hey, I had a hand in helping this come to fruition because I was worried about the children. I would have a more respect if he did that rather than running his mouth the way that he's doing and trying to pretend that he's the hero of the situation. He's smarter than everyone else and got out before things got real bad.
Do you remember when he said, like, the very first thing he said when he came out and was talking about this was, whoever got this ball rolling is a hero. I mean, they're the real ones we need to thank. To me, that's like, him going,
It's me.
It's me. I'm the hero.
As Milton says, I knew that Aaron adopted me, and when he said, whoever did this is a hero.
It's true.
Echo, you got some thoughts on all this?
Yeah, so I don't think it'd be thrown out based on, what you've already kind of covered in terms of, I think he was one step removed at all times, so as much as we're like, oh, he's such an idiot, he's not that much of an idiot, because I think that will actually kind of get the result that he wanted. Is Nick still representing himself? I know that was like early days and I've not followed that side. Has he actually got a proper like lawyer or whatever?
No, that was just for the appearance, the first appearance.
Right. Okay,
that was only for that. No, he's hired lawyers since then.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah, no, okay, because that would be retarded. But okay, yeah, no. I if they use him as a witness, it's ridiculous, and it will be so great for like the Dabbleverse and the extended areas. But surely they've got to be like, we've got too much shit on this guy that everyone's just sending in to us. So yeah, I think Aaron's just going to be repeating the same old shit for the next like 6 months whilst real people do real stuff in regards to it.
Yeah, and I mean, my main thing is just the fact that, like, the Ricators, the fact that they got kids, that's the problem. Like, to me, the coke, I don't give a shit. Like, Nick Ricator going to prison for coke, like, that's not solving the drug problem. Like, those people seeing a day in prison is not solving the drug problem. Yeah, the kids and the kids being in danger, like, that's the problem here. So I don't really necessarily give a shit about the drugs charges. It is the child endangerment that is the issue here. And make them work to get their kids back. Like, I don't really think they need to see any time in jail. If they submit drug tests and do all the things to get their kids back and do the right thing for however many years you want to put them on probation. It's Aaron's vindictive nature and the fact that clearly he did get kicked out and he got angry about it. And he said himself that he's a vindictive person. Like, raids happen because of either someone's saving their own ass or someone is vindictive and goes and talks. Oh, God damn it. I lost my train of thought. I forgot where I was going next. But anyway, yeah, anyone want to comment on just how nasty Aaron gets, like how much pleasure he takes in these charges coming up on April and Nick?
You want to go first, Jackie? I'm sure we have a bunch.
You go first. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta kill myself. Okay.
Well, when he said that, my very first thought was we got to see that live with April, because there for a while he was lying about her being upstairs making candy bacon, and did I hear April coming? There was that, and we saw how quickly he flipped before he was even divorced from her. He was dragging her through the mud. Then we saw him do that with Keanu. I'm sure there's several other ones before, but I'm just thinking about the last couple. So for me, it's pretty obvious when he feels wronged that he will lash out. He sits there and remembers all these tiny little things, and then he will turn it right around on the first person that crosses him, so to speak, or wrongs him in his mind. So yeah, I mean, and to your point, he's already said, like, yeah, I'm a vengeful person. It reminds me of the time, I think he was talking to Matt, maybe Johnny, about the cousin. Like, he was like, as soon as I can say something about this, I'm going to rip her a new one. She's never going to be able, there's so much I could say. Actually, he still says that about April when he was talking about the stuff with Keanu. He was like, there's so much that I haven't said that would really ruin her, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, he just sits on it. And then, like, in present day, he's going to be your best friend. He's going to be your biggest cheerleader, and he's going to put you out there and use you as much as he can until you do something that looks bad on him or that he can't defend. And then it's your go time to be, the dick in the situation, basically.
You sent me on the right path as you got into your explanation. You triggered where I was going with this.
Okay.
The vindictive thing, and like, we have a history now with him, because you brought up Keanu, like, immediately as soon as the turn, shout out Doom,
yep.
As soon as the turn happened from Keanu, it was boom. I've got to trash Keanu. Gino hasn't said anything, so he's still kind of respect Gino, but Keanu said something, so boom, immediately got to discredit her. Let's have a look at his history. His ex-wife, first ex-wife, has a HRO against him, which suggests probably didn't behave in the right manner towards his ex-wife. How about the framed cease and desist on the wall behind him from a former friend and co-host that now he's claiming April lied, and he's painting April in a bad way, but he's the one who went nuclear and got himself a cease and desist. Like, this is a trend with him, that if you start saying things he doesn't like, that's it. You're the worst person in the world. Jackie, thoughts on that side of things?
Well, no, that actually kind of brought something to mind. It feels like he's trying to mend fences with other people, though, now too. So he's chopped the fence, like he's chopped the tree with Keanu and Gino. Oh God, I hate saying their names. It gets me so mixed up.
Yeah,
but then, Keanu, like you were saying, with the cease and desist letter, like, and how he has it framed. Now he went on the show talking about, oh, you know, he was probably Me Too. Like, I know April was lying. Like, you know, we need to take that down. And I apologize to him, yada, yada. And I was just like, so, okay. And then he started talking about, oh, well, now I don't have internet friends. And now I'm reconnecting with all of my other friends and my family and stuff. So it's kind of like since the other people have rejected him, he's kind of like crawling back to, you know, past friends and past relationships and stuff. I also want to point out too, I feel like when he was talking about Kayla, it was almost like I go back and forth with like what I think their relationship was, but I feel like he's trolling her sometimes. The way that he says that, he's like, "Oh, you know, I loved you, honey. I love you." Blah blah blah, like things. And after watching the hot tub stream, I think they had like a real like she really didn't like him, but like had a job to do, and then like I don't know, and he just felt slighted, so now he's like trolling her a lot of times, but. I don't know. So that was just my thought on it.
No, that's good. Dang Lizard, does everyone know how Aaron lost his radio job? Yeah, that's a great point. Yep, from that. That's a great point, Dang. Yeah, he lost his radio job by bullying a woman who, like, he described her as a pig and fat and disgusting. And recently saw a picture of her. She's a bit of a fox, this woman. So it is, it is just purely his anger at not getting what he wanted. He lashes out. Eckel, you got any thoughts on vindictive side of Aaron?
Yeah, so we all have known at least one person like this in our life. Yeah, if you're unlucky, it's a family member. If you're lucky, it's just like a co-worker or maybe like a friend of a friend. And just with people like this, it's just a matter of time, really, till they kind of turn on you or turn on someone that you actually have an issue with them turning on. So it really wasn't surprising to see him turn like on a switch, even though Keanu turned on him real quick as well. To be fair, if we're kind of throwing mud, we should stick it to that bitch as well. But
thank you, Eckel. Thank you for being fair.
Yeah, but I just genuinely dislike him. Like the way he kind of calls it, he's like, "Well, sweetheart," and I'm like, I don't care if you're being like patronizing to women, but that just sounds shit in general. That just sounds like, oh, you're not a good person. You're not a enjoyable person to be around. So yeah, vindictive, obviously, because he's got nothing else really going for him. Just the show and his goal and his loser kids.
And the thing is, so there's one person that I've been podcasting for a few years and I've worked with a few different people, and there's one person that I'm on record of saying he's a shit person. He's a bad human being. And go on this channel, go check out A Rad Confession, where we break down Rad Rob Francois' confession to masturbating in the window to a woman across the in another window across the way. Yeah, I got arrested for that. So yeah, A Rad Confession. Go watch that video. It's a funny breakdown of this man's confession. But yeah, that's a gross person who does exactly what Aaron does. You watch him just burn bridge after bridge after bridge. It's like, this is a bad human being. There's nobody else that like I've met across all of this where I'd say that's a bad person. Like, you know, you have differences of opinions, you have falling out, you don't talk to each other anymore. Maybe you make jokes at each other's expense, but like, it's not, that's a bad person. Aaron Imholtte's a bad person. Like, he's nasty. He's a nasty man.
You see him with Johnny earlier. I know we've already gone over it, but just how he's kind of like, so just like, yeah. All right. Okay. Next, like, move on. Come on. Like, and you're like, shut the fuck up. You think he's good enough to do your show because you pay him. So at least have the common courtesy to be like professional on your own show. And I kind of want to a little bit defend, like, yeah, like shit talk. Like earlier, you can even sort that clip out. You were shit, Aussie guy. That's fine. Everyone loves that. But when it's like, you're not joking, are you? You're just being a cunt. Yeah. That's a different thing. And I think people can tell. Well, we all four of us agreed that he was not even trying to be funny. He was just being a dickhead. So
yes.
It just goes to show it doesn't matter who is in second mic, because it's Aaron's show. He has tunnel vision. I mean, but he's like that through life. It doesn't matter who his second chair wife is. It doesn't matter who his second chair friends are. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. If it will elevate him, then great. And he will wear that into the ground. Same thing with him being, to me, when he came out and was talking about the swinging and all that, it was a way for him to be perceived, at least for a moment. Like, I'm with the cool kids, right? Like, I'm doing the cool stuff everybody wishes they were doing, right? And obviously clout chasing Nick, which is funny because Nick Rekieta 2024 is not the same as Nick Rekieta 2020. They're very different, worlds. But he is so opportunistic that it doesn't matter who is on either side of him unless they can elevate him. And if he knows that, that they can't, then, he will ignore any and everybody. It's like, even in the way that he speaks, he just doesn't hear anything or doesn't see anybody. He's just straight on Aaron, me, all the time.
Yeah. That's spot on. You nailed it. We might get some closing thoughts, and then I'm going to spring a game on you guys that I've decided to do on the fly. One of the games that we play here.
Let's take our clothes off.
But Jackie, Jackie, you got any closing thoughts for today's show before we wrap it up?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having us on, because this was great. It was fun. Your chat is awesome too.
Sure. I think it's your chat, to be honest, but yeah.
But I just wanted to say, I guess my closing thought is, well, I don't know. What I've noticed since like the whole Clippergate thing is, it seems like Aaron is happy to have a little bit of a reprieve of people talking shit about him, and now everyone's on the talking shit about Keanu train, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna be on the caboose of this train because at least it's not me right now, but I need to get it back to me at some point. So that's what I think.
Well, not only that, but it benefits him since Keanu's, to him has just slighted him by talking a bunch of crap and basically siding with April and leaving the show. So that also benefits him to ride that train, so to speak.
And I think it's going to be interesting this upcoming month because the Reketas have their first appearance in court. Aaron has another appearance in court for violating his HRO. We'll see what happens there. There's going to be more that's coming out on April's charges and stuff. So everyone needs to buckle up. Like, this isn't going anywhere for anytime soon. That's for sure.
Good point. And we didn't even get to Aaron's dramatic reaction to April putting an Instagram post for a dead girl. Oh my God, he's out of his mind and insane. Like, how diabolical would she have to be to plan that those charges get laid on the date of that girl's birthday? You know what I mean? Diabolical.
Yeah.
Well, as much as I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, as much as he watches himself in that camera, you would think that he could practice a little better with his like delivery and being surprised. It's always just like, dude, it's so fake. Like, stop.
Tuki's dramatic Aaron Imholtte, like it's so perfect because Aaron is cartoonish when he goes over the top like that. And Tuki's nailed it with his Aaron Imholtte. Cool. Any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, my final thoughts more towards Clippergate, if that's all right. So I think fuck gatekeeping in the Dabbleverse, and extended. I think we should welcome every new person / Clipper, any new shows that are starting soon. I think we should all go and watch them. I just think it's absolute bullshit. I personally really enjoyed Phil Elmore, and the one thing that I didn't like from Tuki, he was gatekeeping a bit with Phil Elmore, and all the trolls hated Phil Elmore as well. And you just got rid of someone who gave content to like 150, 200 people live. That's pretty good. And I think we need more people like you two, Haley and Jackie. Like, we need more people, even if you're not directly involved. We need to just kind of like embrace it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But with the Clippers, they help so many shows. I'm sure if you watch any fucking Keanu show, she'd have a clip somewhere in there, at some point. Or wouldn't she like sniping, like literally sniping, adding no content to Dickhead Steel Toe show? So yeah, I personally think don't gatekeep. It's not cool. And fuck Keanu, really.
No, that is a great point. Keanu uses the clips, and again, I mentioned this earlier, but this is what Keanu and Chrissy and all that don't understand is when you click on one of these clips to use on your show, you're saying I couldn't take the time to prep my own show. This person prepped it for me, and that person put in a lot of time. And again, shout out Stalin19, real media player on YouTube. I used your shit today. Absolutely. I didn't want to have to do that prep work. You guys did it for me, and I appreciate it. So yeah, no, you make a great point.
As always.
Yeah, of course. All right, I'm gonna randomly hit you guys with a game that I call Guess the Australian Slang.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, okay.
All right, so your name is your buzzer. I'm gonna throw out a word or a phrase, and you buzz in if you think you know what it is, and then yeah, we go from there. All right, so the first one is, what are thongs?
Robbie.
Yes, Robbie.
Yeah, so like underwear, right? Girls' underwear.
Oh, Jackie.
No. Oh, go ahead.
Are they sandals?
Yes, correct. Jackie gets the first point.
Oh, I was being literal. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's that thongs.
Shut
are
up. Next question. I'm sorry.
Congratulations, Jackie's got the first point. Don't worry though. The final one, there's multiple that you got to get. It's a full sentence with multiple. So
Oh gosh.
you're always in it till the end. The next one. What are durries?
Spell it.
Durries. Durries.
Robbie.
Yes, Robbie.
Thongs.
Good guess. Good guess.
Yeah.
Hurries. I don't even want to. I don't know.
Is it a type of food?
It's not. No.
Is it a type
Australian
of
furries.
land?
Incorrect.
You could have chose good ones.
Yeah, Jackie, I'll give you 5 seconds to throw in an answer, or it's over. 5. 4,
Pants.
3. No, incorrect.
Penises.
That was a good
Durries
guess.
Durries are cigarettes.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna go grab a
Boring.
pack of durries.
Boring.
Can I pinch a durry off you? Yeah. All right, number
That
3.
sounds gross.
Yeah, it is.
Pinching a durry.
But you know, we don't call them fags anymore.
Oh, hey.
I know.
That's our word.
They used to be an ad campaign in the 80s. It was only dags smoke fags. Good times. Good times, ladies. Anyway, next one. What is a tinny?
Robbie.
Yes, Robbie.
Beer. Like a can of beer.
Well done. Yeah. You do have an advantage being English.
Thank you, stuttering John. You've taught me well.
Yeah. Yes, a tinny is a can of beer.
Oh, yeah.
All right. What was my... Oh, that's all right. The fourth one, and then we go to the final round where you can get multiple points. So we got Eckel on 1, Jackie on 1. Haley needs to try and get in there now. All right. The fourth one is, what are budgie smugglers?
Robbie.
Yes, Robbie.
So they're not thongs, but they're very close to it. They're kind of like your pants, your boxers. I might be saying the wrong word for you to understand, but it's where Speedos.
All right, well done, Speedos.
Yeah. Swimming trunks.
Yeah.
I just said 10 things until I won.
Hey?
Budgie
smugglers.
You smuggle your budgie.
So your ball bag and cock look like you're smuggling in a...
Yeah, so Haley,
bag,
your ball bag
Okay.
and your cock looks like...
Yeah.
Noted.
All right.
Noted.
So Eccles 2, Jackie's 1, but there's 4. There's a full sentence here. If you guess one of them, you get 1 point, but then everyone else can try and get the other points. But can you figure out this sentence? Explain what's going on in this sentence. Dazza and Shazza are listening to Akadaka on the way to Macca's.
Right, so Eckel, Pineapple, Robbie, whichever one I was doing.
Yeah.
So Darren and Sharon are listening to something you can get a point on whilst they're on their way to McDonald's.
Wow.
Sorry for being literal.
Right?
Sorry for being literal and actually getting the answers and not doing something funny, but I just want to win.
Were you leaving one open for them to get a point?
Yes.
You'd have to
Can
say
either
it
of
again.
you guys figure out? Think Australian
Akadaka.
music. Akadaka.
Akadaka.
Australian
Mohammed
music.
Jihad. Akadaka.
Probably the
Mohammed
most
Jihad.
famous band to ever come out of Australia.
Kylie Minogue.
I have no. Oh wait.
Oh, Akadaka.
I don't know. I don't want to say wrong and be embarrassed, so I give.
I mean, there's no way you can be embarrassed. Like ACDC.
I mean, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, when you said Akadaka, I was like,
okay.
I thought you was doing the Tukey thing. Akadaka.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the whole sentence sounded like something from Tukey. That's why I was like, what?
Yes. Yeah, little Emmy got it in the chat. Ace and Taylor got it. ACDC.
Nice.
Correct. Yes,
Lemmy
we
wins.
call them Akadaka over here. So yeah, Eccles wins. Had an advantage being British. There's probably some crossover with British slang because you got Sharon and Darren pretty quick.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Brits.
It's
Who
the
is Sharon and
stereotype we have.
Darren? Who is
They're
that?
really, they're
From the
royalty in
band?
Australia. No.
They're
It's king
just
and queen of Australia.
So we
Sharon and
make
Darren.
the names Sharon and Darren. We make them Shazza and Dazza. So that's
Okay. But who are they?
they're nobody. They're just
Oh, they're
names.
just names. Okay, got
Oh,
you.
okay.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll
Oh,
try
that was
better
fun.
next time.
I like that. Chris.
Yeah.
I'll have to study up on my Australian slang.
Well, and to be honest, I just thought of it as we were like getting close to the end. I just thought of it, I was like, let's play a game to close this out. So I had
Yeah,
to
that's
quickly
cool.
think of 'em off the top of my head. Next time I would be a little bit more prepped for it. But we've done a solid hour and a half just about, and I am really appreciative of your time on a Saturday morning, ladies. Let everyone know about Pretty Antisocial, Super Tips, everything you got going on. Plug everything you can plug. There's 20 people watching.
Go ahead, Jackie. Light him
Okay,
up.
well, so we are live Tuesdays, and now we're going to start next week, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and Rumble, and I believe on Haley's X account, or I don't know. But mostly we're on YouTube and Rumble. We have super tips set up that you guys can, put in whatever. We have voices now. We have 4 voices, is it? That
I'm gonna
people can
get
use for the super
I
tips.
emailed Moody and I was like, I need at least Keanu. He said just don't beat up like all the requests, and he would try to get it for us. So I'm trying to be very particular about the ones I definitely want. But I think on X we're at Pretty Antipod because obviously the whole word wouldn't fit and we had to scramble that around. But you can follow us there. What else?
Yeah.
Anything else?
You can follow me on X at Suburban Mama 1, Suburban Mama, the number 1. Find me there. I'm not very good on Twitter. I see things, I like it, I retweet. I don't really do my own tweets. So, but yeah.
I'm at Lady Kennington on Twitter, at Lady Kennington.
Yeah. So we are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. This Wednesday is going to be our first Wednesday show. And we're working on some other things to do. We'll talk Steel Toe, we'll talk the Keanu stuff, but we're Haley's going to help introduce me to this whole new world that I have stumbled upon. So, yes.
Love it.
There's plenty of stuff to check out. I'm sure people wouldn't mind. I should send you a particular Stuttering John interview that he did with this particular woman. I would love to hear a couple of ladies break down Stuttering John's sleazing onto a poor woman. I think that would be entertaining.
I don't mind. And we've considered Stuttering John, but to me, he's boring. And I know that's probably, I'm going to get ate up about that. People are going to come for me over that. But I remember him from back in the Howard Stern days. I'm old enough to remember when he was on that show. And like, it was a funny enough bit for like 15 seconds. And then it got old even watching that. So to me, like, other than him being weird and like harassing people and stuff like that, it's just not, I think he's boring. And I think there's way more interesting and fascinating people that are,
It's got boring because he's now fighting back and he just repeats himself over and over and over again. Now, he does have his like 7 or 8 Glory Days stories that he tells. Like, as soon as he goes into a story, I know what it is. I'm like, I can tell you the story he's going to tell because I've heard him tell them. But back when he wasn't responding to people and he was just being Stuttering John, that stuff is magic. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. And that's what I mean is like going back to some of his interviews that he used to do. And he just did an interview recently. He made it all about himself. And it's the greatest interview skill I've ever seen. He makes every interview about himself. It is incredible. But anyway, something to think about, different ideas. But everyone subscribe to him. They do a great job. Super tip them during the show. Send some funny AI voice messages through on the show. Will be great. Eccles, you've got Pint, Double Pint, and you've got your 5 in 5s, which I was a part of one recently.
It was so good. You were so brilliant. I don't know what's happened to you.
That's
Like,
cool.
it must just be when you're live, it just goes downhill. But no, you were great. Thank you very much for doing that. Yes, so I have got 5 in 5. They're short interviews with people in the Dabbleverse adjacent area. Yep, so that's what I count Haley and Jackie as now. Yeah, sorry, if you like it or not, you're adjacently connected to the Dabbleverse. So welcome.
Fair enough.
Yeah, 5-minute interviews. They're great fun. Some are so good that I'm going to have the people back on for longer ones like the Aussie guy here. But yes, this Sunday we've got Pint Double Pint. It's 7:30 UK time. That's 2:30 Eastern time. And if you're an idiot who lives in Australia, it's 4:30 in the morning. So feel free to set your alarm. Yes, we've got the amazing Rochi and New Girl. And we will be using so many British phrases that you won't understand a word of it. Fingers crossed. That's me.
Brilliant.
Echo Pineapple. Join
Thank you, bro.
YouTube, Twitter.
No, thank you all very much for joining me, bailing me out. Well, actually, I can't say that Scoop and Josh let me down. Like, I just told them not to come on today. But Robbie bailed this week because he had to go see the fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers again. I mean, he's seen them multiple times. How many times do you need to see them? Garbage man.
How old are they now?
They're pretty old.
Yeah,
I don't know.
close to it. Close to it.
They'd be at least in their late 50s, surely.
Mhm.
Yes.
I mean, they were like in their 30s when I was like 16.
Oh, don't.
So they're like 70 or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, so for my plugs, I mean, pretty much just on X/Twitter. I'm at that sussy guy. Actually, no, youtube.com/getmygo. There's a new episode coming soon. Mike is editing it. We had some fun. Back on Johnny Podcasting, my favorite lolcow. So we had some fun of two guys talking beaver. Part 2, I guess. The title's in the works. But anyway, youtube.com/getmygo. Always love it. prowrestlingtees.com/Mike Durbin. Get an At That Sussy Guy t-shirt because on X I am At That Sussy Guy. Just imagine that Aussie guy and put an S where the A should be. We'll catch you next time on United States of Australia. Does anyone want to throw in a witty comment to close the show out? Or?
Thanks for having us. That's not very witty, but thank you.
Steel Coast kids suck. They're stupid.
Later.
They're losers. Bye.
Perfect.
Fuck you, Keanu.
Oh my God.